when I was a kid. My father, my grandfather, I had 3 uncles and 2 or 3 cousins who all worked for the Santa Fe Railroad in Kansas. So needless to say, I was at the depot watching trains a lot of the time. Steam engines were still running when I was in high school, and then shortly after that they weren't running anymore. So I got a view of a few steam engines going by, and I still remember them. I'm Joe Watts. I'm the president of the Blissfield Model Railroad Club. I've been in the club since 2001. The club has been here since 1991, and we've made a lot of changes, a lot of improvements. We've been building railroad for over 20 years now. So we are now in a permanent location, a building where we own the building. It's all on the ground floor. It's handicap accessible, and our visitors really appreciate the new space that we have here. Our primary reason for being here is to open the layout for public to see. We have free open houses. Hopefully we'll start doing them every month starting in this coming September. Usually on the 3rd weekend of the month. We're open Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 4, and it's free. We let everybody in that would like to come in and see it.
Well, I grew up pretty much right on the railroad. I still live there now in the same house. One day I walked outside and my grandma told me that there was a train coming, and out of the blue and ended up stopping right outside the house because they had to wait on another train to come by. And the engineer came out, walked out, he gave me an old flag that back in the day they threw on the rear to make it as their end of train device, if you want to call it. And he asked my grandma if it was all right if I can ride in the cab ride from my house to Detroit and back. And she turned around and looked at me and said, "Is that something you want to do?" I was like, "Sure." So I took a cab ride from my house to Detroit and back within a day, and ever since then I've kind of fell in love with trains. What is great about Blissfield Model Railroad Club is that right outside our back door we have the Adrian Blissfield Railroad, and they're a little short line that runs between here, Blissfield, and in Adrian. They also have a secondary company called the Jail, which runs between Jackson and Lansing. Right out back, you take 3 steps and you're right on top of the tracks. It's actually pretty neat while you're sitting here running a train, you hear a horn go off and you're like, "Oh, what's that?" And the little kids here during the open house, they'll go out there and put their face right up to the window and be surprised that there's a railroad that runs right in pretty much our backyard.
I think the history of what made America great in so many aspects and made this country that we are is the railroad. And from the historical perspective, you know, everything before the interstate and before the major roads, you know, it was railroads. And we try to preserve a little history when we do this. The fun part is when we do run, guys have the ability to run what they want. But the basis of this railroad is the Clinchfield and the Chesapeake and Ohio. And we've tried to model the Appalachian area that it goes through, all the way from Toledo, all the way down to almost Roanoke.
It's your own miniature world. And it's not something that you're confined to the virtual reality of a game. You can do whatever you could imagine in model railroading, and you just let your creativity run wild. And it's fun too when you get to run your trains and you get to explore your own creation. It's all in your hands.